Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. And in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Tony Jeton Selimi, the founder and CEO of TJS Cognition. Tony brings a fascinating mix of expertise in human behavior and cognition, neuroscience, emotional intelligence, and over 3 decades of coaching and consulting experience impacting high achievers globally, and a passion for helping leaders maximize their potential through transformative strategies. Based in London, TJS Cognition, founded in 2012, is revolutionizing how executives, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders overcome burnout, build resilience, and accelerate business growth. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his business empowers clients in the personal and professional development space, and his vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. With that being said, let's dive right into it. Tony, welcome to Founders Future.
Jay, thank you so much for this opportunity to share insights that others can grow, transform, and elevate their life and their business.
I love it. Absolutely. A pleasure and an honor to have you on the show, Tony. Just an amazing background that you have and a great conversation that we had before starting the show. So truly a pleasure. If we could start at the beginning, Tony, for our listeners, what specific problem in the personal and professional development landscape really inspired you to start TJS Cognition?
To start with, I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
My parents were restaurateurs, but also the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey didn't start now. It started at age 7. My father used to train me to be outside the restaurants and welcome people into the restaurant. And he lured us passers-by to come and dine into our restaurants. And for me, it was about really seeing that joy of being able to bring these people inside and offer them this incredible dining experience. Really, for me back then, it wasn't about selling. It was really about bringing joy to people.
Yes.
But not only that, on the other part of the world, because we lived in 2 different places, in Macedonia, where I was born, we had a farm. So in the farm, I used to sell produce of the farms in the local communities from age 7, by the way. So that before I even went to school, I would distribute the milk, and during the summer, whatever produce we had in the farm, I would go and sell them. And also then every Tuesday, there was a massive market. So after school, if I was in the school early in the morning, in the afternoon, I'd be in the market selling produce. And for me, I never thought about selling as something you need to sell. It was more about seeing the joy of people using whatever you have to sell for them.
Yes.
And then I studied science, but at the same time, illness fell upon me. I ended up in hospital for 2 years. And then my life was saved from a lot of spiritual teachers and healers. And then I became very curious about really understanding science and spirituality. And then I excelled in every subject. I got a place at one of the top universities in former Yugoslavia, in Zagreb, in what is now Croatia, in engineering. I finished my first year, and then the civil war fell upon us. And then I ended up seeing so many atrocities and being there for 40 months, never knowing whether I'm going to have a second opportunity to live. 14 months of those struggles, my life was saved, and then I ended up homeless on the streets of London.
Wow.
So literally at age 20, I went from living a wonderful life and having identity, having a country, having dreams, having everything, having hardworking family, having all of the stability a child requires, to suddenly everything's been taken away from me. And then trying to cope with all of that loss. But then as I did that, the first thing came back to me back again, saying, okay, let's get myself into work. So I started working 3-4 jobs, from cleaning streets to helping the elderly, doing DIY work, working in restaurants. And then I got some money together and I paid my way through university in one of the top engineering universities, University College London, where I basically did a dual degree, both engineering, organizational behavior, and management with psychology, because I wanted a fast track into technology world. So then the real work started for me, working for big corporation, private, and also public sectors in tech. So I really became very good in tech. I excelled very well up to the point in the last job I was leading and managing 10 billion pound technology transformation programs. So when you mentioned earlier on tech, I was like, okay, we're going to have a great conversation.
Yes. Amazing.
So that's really a nutshell of the tremendous background that led me to then the later story of me becoming transformational coach and life strategies for entrepreneurs, for CEO, leaders, celebrities, all of that.
Amazing, amazing. First and foremost, Tony, just an incredible background. And this is exactly why I love being the host of the show, right? Because we have a founder like yourself who has gone through so much adversity. You were at a point in life where you felt like you had it all and you were really going to push forward, and then life had different plans. And so many people could be stuck in a situation like that and up and just be down on themselves. And the fact that you're here today, you persevered through all of those hardships, and you have seen the success that you've been able to see. It's truly inspiring to be able to have you in front of me, having this amazing conversation, and truly just want to thank you so much and really give you the floor to know that is very difficult to do. And the fact that you were able to accomplish all that truly is incredible. So just wanted to lay that out there before continuing on, because that is an amazing story and truly needs to be recognized for all that you were able to do to accomplish what you have. So again, thank you so much. So with that, I would definitely love to understand a bit more, especially for our listener, of what you're doing with TJS Cognition today. So if you can walk us through a bit now, Tony, of what you're doing as far as the core offer. I know that you have tailored coaching sessions, you have masterminds, treats. What is all of your core offerings, and who is the ideal client that you're working with right now?
So firstly, I would like to say that in 2008, following the financial crisis, I took some time off from the corporate world, and I wanted to integrate all of the knowledge and everything I've learned through the adversity, which I gave you just 1%.
Yes.
And I wanted to bring that into service to humanity. And as a result of that, I set up the TJS Cognition as a private coaching, mentoring, research, education, training, speaking, publishing, filmmaking company to be able to bring this knowledge and to dedicate it to exploring and expanding human awareness and potential. Now, the vision is really to inspire men and women of all nationalities, of all creeds, of all religions, to become truly purposeful and disciplined leaders of themselves and others. As such, we can actually transform the world and hopefully live a better world than the one that our parents left us. The core offering in them is the Climb Greater Heights, which I set up when I left the corporate world. It's a 5-day training and development for high achievers, because as one of the leading experts in the world, therefore, this work benefits most the people who are at least running 7 to 9-figure businesses. So people who really have this incredible knowledge and incredible calling, but at the same time, they're facing various challenges and adversities that can really distract them from their core mission. And they require clarity. They require a strategy. They require balance. They require transformation of the psychology to be in alignment with the kind of vision and business they envision for themselves. And then I have core programs which are tailored specifically to the client. So it could be a company or an individual. And we're talking about those programs go 7-figure and above.
Absolutely incredible. So really working with leadership on the coaching, the masterminds, being able to put that training together and getting them to the next level in their careers and working with them through that resilience and what you've been able to see in your personal life and establishing that into their careers. Incredible on that front. With that being said, Tony, today, what does it look like as far as the acquisition side? I know that I can imagine the experience that you have and you're getting a lot of referrals, but what channels are you seeing most successful for you today to get more leads in, more clients in, whether it is referrals, social media, ads, and talk a bit about the challenges you're seeing on that front as well.
The first thing I would love to share is basically when I get this question, I always say one needs to do before they scale. We first must align ourselves. Then we need to, before we sell, we must first understand who we are and who we serve.
Yes.
And then before we lead, we must become the very architect of the life and the business we envision, so others can be inspired by what they can see from us. And for me, because I started my business 14 years ago now, and I come across many excellent entrepreneurs, smart people. They have all the tech behind, all the teams behind, but they struggle to scale, they struggle to sell.
Yes.
And for me, it's somehow the opposite, because I don't have sophisticated systems, because this is a very VIP experience. It's some of the people, the Hollywood clients that I have, they branded me as the Dior of personal and professional development. And as such, the kind of clients they attract are people who first, they don't want to go to seminars or workshops. They want exclusivity to start with. They want expertise, somebody who's been there, done that, and they have a clear track record. And they want somebody they can deeply trust, because you're not just a founder, you're not just a leader. You could be a father, you could have so many other things going on in your life. And in reality, to be able to transform any business owner or leader, I have to look at every area of their life and being able to elevate those. So therefore, there needs to be a level of trust and safety. And also, they love to travel. I travel to beautiful locations, and recently I was in Bora in Hawaii. I go to Dubai. I go all of those wonderful places, and I select places where my clients come, and we do either 5, 7, or 10-day intense work. So the acquisition process behind that, what has worked very well is my media appearances, meaning on TV mostly, radio, podcasts sometimes. But the biggest acquisition I get is every time on TV and sharing knowledge, for instance. The other part is I have 7 books, and I just released Climb Greater Heights, which is named after teaching this program for 12 years, Jay. And all of my clients kept telling me, Tony, put what you're teaching us into a book. Put it in a book, put it in a book. Because my other books tend to go more into the personal development, emotional mastery, into authenticity, into leadership. But this one is specifically focused on business and about assisting people raise the authority. When you have authority and credibility and influence, people come to you. You become the go-to expert.
Yes.
Now, you can have a business that does volume. And my business that does volume is when it comes to digital products or physical products. But the business that I have when it comes to training and development, I moved away from running workshops and seminars to now doing exclusivity.
Amazing.
And with that, for instance, Jay, just to give you an example, in every training retreat that I delivered globally, I meet new client in every place, by the way, because usually we are so intense when we work together that we spend breakfast, lunch, dinner together during that week. And usually people who are around us, they tend to listen to our conversations. And then when we go out in the evening in the bar, we talk about what we did today. We talk about celebrating those small little wins with the clients. And all of my clients become very open to sharing their journeys. So then they come and ask me questions. By the end of the retreat, somebody else saying, okay, I need to book you. And because I go to places where very exclusive clientele go, and it's a certain price range, you actually meet people who are really serious about business, about their life, about the next level of scale. So for me, then I have referrals, like some of my clients who work for banks, who work for big law firms, for instance. I worked with a client that I helped him. He hired me to help him for leadership, and in reality, I helped him divorce. Wow. And he is one of the top lawyers within one of the big firms with the best lawyers around him. But he turned around, they couldn't do the job the way I did. To make sure that he divorces the family, because you're divorcing not just the wife, you're divorcing the kids and all of that. And managing all of that while I'm still helping him remain a solid leader for a massive company. So as a result of that, word of mouth came out. Then suddenly my PA receives like, okay, so-and-so told us we need to book a consultation. My acquisition is pretty much through word of mouth, TV, speaking engagements that I do privately. I have a TED Talk out there who really brings my tech side of it and AI, and I predicted about everything that's been going on in AI in 2017, not now. Amazing. So I'm a bit of futuristic when it comes to a lot of things that I can predict what's happening globally. Just the way I predicted what will happen with the COVID pandemic, during which then I sat down and I said, okay, let me tackle the biggest issue that humanity is having right now, through which the Unfakeable Code book was written, by the way, during COVID and published in COVID. And it's all about taking back mental and emotional control, how to live authentically, and how to live freely on your terms. And this is something that most business people or leaders or entrepreneurs haven't managed yet to achieve. Because when you do that, and when you create this inner peace within yourself, everything else flows smoothly.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible, Tony. And clear as day, what you've been able to really push to the table here, why you've seen the success that you've seen. So at that point, talk to me about the future here. Before we get into the lightning round, I have one more question, and that's just the vision for the future. What does the rest of this year going into next year look like? It really sounds like what you're doing now is really close knit. You're keeping it close with the clients that you're working with. The scale is really more for the digital products that you have. When it comes to the coaching and consulting, you're keeping that closeness. So what are you laser focused on for the rest of the year for that continued success?
So the latest book just came out. And with that, we're starting a massive campaign, by the way. So I have a campaign manager who will be getting the book out there to as many entrepreneurs and businesses and all of that. As a result of that, I'll be doing book signing, a lot of speaking engagement to different corporations. And then I have pretty much my diary till December. It's all booked. Clients who book Climb Greater Heights, they need to book at least 3 months in advance because I have an oversubscribed list. Because it takes a lot of, I would say, arrangements behind my pianist to do, because I choose those locations for a specific reason. Intuitively, I choose specific location for particular client. The moment we get the reservation, we're doing that. So I'll be doing then TV and radio around Balkans. I'll be going to Kosovo, Macedonia, Albania.
Ooh.
I'll be doing a lot of TV programs because I share my knowledge in 4 languages, Jay.
Nice.
And then because I'm off to Italy next week. So I'm doing one training down there. And the client that I'm doing training in, it's him and his wife. And then basically, then I'm attending their weddings.
Wow.
And then I'm hired to do some talking at a European convention for cardiologists, which basically I'm doing some private work with cardiologists. And also I'm directing a lot of the purpose growth in healthcare. So I have a lot of clients who are doctors, who I help them build incredible visions, some with their visions. And then I'm preparing for another TED Talk to start in spring next year. So pretty much diary is pretty booked. You know, the level of clients that I bring on board, they have to be the right client who have big visions and they are serious client and they're ready to invest. My PA we have a filtering system to see who the next level client would be ready, who could become the next thought leader in whatever profession they are or whatever business they are. So I literally create iconic leaders and iconic businesses.
Absolutely incredible. Just one last question for you here, Tony. I could sit here and talk to you all day. It's incredible what you bring to the table here. Truly an honor and a pleasure to have the conversation with you. To wrap us up here, Tony, for our listeners, what is the best piece of advice that you can offer to the listeners tuning in right now? I just heard your incredibly inspiring journey, everything you've been able to accomplish from the beginning to where you are today, Tony. What can you leave them with before we wrap up the show?
To assist another human being is to first and foremost transform your inner being. Clean the lens within so you can experience a life which is rich on the outside and rich in every sense of it. So the importance of doing the inner work, it pays off so much more benefits in your outer reality. And make sure that you lead with authenticity no matter what you do. And do not change yourself to fit somebody else's agenda. Be authentic, be unfakeable, be true to yourself, and be amazing.
Absolutely incredible. With that, right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another incredibly inspiring episode of Founders Future. And Tony, I truly cannot thank you enough for coming on the show, sharing that journey, the hardships, the successes, truly everything laid out for us, the insights you gave us today. An honor and a pleasure to have someone of your stature on the show. The conversation was amazing, and I truly respected every second of it. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you get your favorite podcast. And also check out TJS Cognition at tonyselimi.com for their services like the Vital Planning Retreats And follow Tony on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Tony J. Selimi. For more resources and insights, you can visit us here at closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.